Oh, that's funny. Every time I have the video camera right handy and I want something to say, I whip it on. Here's another tip for you. On my step ladder, see how wide the step treads are? You want something wide like that, and not a 2, get a 3, and not the one with the handle arm right there, or the small one with the handle there. Have it extend up like that. Then if you stand here, you can lean against that, you can grab onto that, you can balance yourself. Wide stair treads. I will never use a step stool again, step ladder, that only have treads that wide. That's an ankle buster, and it's hard sometimes going up and down off of there to get your balance and stuff. You'll see, you'll see. And of course, if I'm painting down low, like I am getting ready to do, to paint the walls down to the baseboards and stuff, I've always used my little knee pad. Okay? You gotta get yourself one of those. Be safe rather than sorry. If you're gonna kneel down, even on wood subfloors all day long, you'll know what I'm talking about. You're not getting any younger either. And your knees will take a beating. I even got a knee brace on, and a little support brace, and a back lumbar support brace on. And I'm all ready to go on painting and working off the floor all day long. As long as I have my knee pad, baby, I'm good to go. If you don't have a knee pad, you got some old carpet pad laying around, or a strip of carpet, use that for your knee pad. Do whatever you gotta do to be safe rather than sorry. Haha, well, I'm still here. It's 8:30 at night, and I've still got a couple more hours to go. I cut in all the tops of the bottom of the wall down to the baseboard, around the edges of the door frames. Look how nice and tight. I cut that paint into the door frame, the door casings. Look at that. That's a thing of beauty. And down here at the baseboard, I don't know if you could get any better than this. You know? I did a really good job. I must say, so far. I've got a little bit more to go. See there? Look at that. Nice straight tight lines. Look how nice that is now. And I just got done painting the window stools and the aprons, and I ended up deciding not to use my little mini roller after cutting in everything, because with a length like this, even a smaller window stool, when you're using semi-gloss paint, it starts to thicken up a little bit as you're painting it on there. And I was afraid, you know, after I cut in everything, I thought, well, first I did it in 2 stages. I cut in the apron at the bottom and underneath the window stool first. Went all around to the 4 different areas that I showed you before, and I did that first. Okay, then I thought I'll just do the top and have it ready for the mini roller. I didn't want to do one and then have the mini roller sitting there until I did the next one and then the next one. And so I did all that first, went around to the 4 different areas. Then I came back to this one, and I knew I was gonna have to cut it in nice and tight up against the window. Doesn't that look good? Nice straight line. Good grief, am I a painter? Nope, I'm not a painter. I'm not a professional painter. I'm just an average Joe, and if I can do it, of course you can do it. And see, I got it up on the wall. I didn't care if I got it up on the wall, because it's dry. As it's drying now, like I said, I got a couple more hours here. I've got this room all cut in. I've got and that middle area, that whole middle area is all cut in down at the bottom where the baseboards is, and around the top edge of the door frames and the side of the door frames. Look how nice and straight that line is. Good Lord. And then I had to go around that, and you know, all kinds of stuff. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna save this room and the closet towards the last. That way I'll do the window stools, and as the window stools are drying, as these window sills and this top landing area and the one going down there, those are all wet right now, but they'll be dry enough by the time I get done cutting in this room and the closet, and I can cut around the sides of the windows, and by that time these will have skinned up enough to where I can cut in on the walls, you know. But back to the mini roller thought, you know, after I cut it in and did around the edge, I thought, okay, I'm going to put a coat of paint on here, you know, kind of thick, and then I'll run back with the mini roller. Well, as I was going to about here, you know, it starts setting up and it starts getting sticky. If you've ever worked with semi-gloss paint, you know what I'm talking about. And so I thought, you know what, forget the mini roller. I'm getting it on there so nice and even anyways. I'm just going to keep going. And I just went ahead and did the whole thing with my 2.5-inch paintbrush, and it's turning out really nice. Another thing you could do, they have this material. It comes in a quart container or a pint container, and it's called Floetrol. And you put a little bit of that in your paint, in your semi-gloss paint, and it blends your little lines together, you know, that your paintbrush leave. You could use that. I used to, when I did tenant improvements for commercial work, I had a guy helping me, my electrician, and when he did finish paint, like painting door frames and casings and stuff like that, he ended up, I would get him Floetrol, and he'd put a little bit of that in. There's a certain formula how much to put in a gallon of paint, and it makes the paint look really good after you get done with the paintbrush. But I didn't have any Floetrol, and I just did it with my paintbrush, and it came out looking really good. You can only do little sections at a time, and then when you do the next section, you got to kind of blend it in. And I'm pretty good with the paintbrush, blending stuff in and going with the paintbrush to blend it into the next area. There's no stopping and starting lines that you'll see on any of my window stools. Okay, and so I thought, hey, it's going good enough. I'm not even going to take the chance of using the mini roller afterwards, because with the mini roller, I've got to stop the mini roller fairly close to the wall or to the window sides. And when you stop that, it's hard to stop it and not make a line. And the mini roller, whatever mini roller you use, even if you use a foam mini roller or one with a 1/4-inch nap, anything looks different than your paintbrush, okay? So you have to remember that, because if you stop the mini roller right in here, then you're gonna have stipple on here, and then you're gonna have your paintbrush lines, so to speak, the smoothness. And this is already drying. This is drying. I'm not even going to touch it. I could probably touch this one over here, because that's where I started. And do I dare even show you if it's yeah, see? I mean, I'm touching it, okay? Nothing. I'm touching it. See there? It's already dry. That's already dry enough for me to cut in around there. So with semi-gloss paint, it's really good that it skins up so quick. Now I can go back in and cut in, but you know, I'm going to leave it until I cut in the last room and the closet. Then I'm going to come back. And then I'm going to cut in around the ceiling, around the window. I already cut in this side, but see up at the top, I got to cut that in all the way along there and along here. That's how close I got it with. I ended up using a 4-inch mini roller to paint these sides, and I used the frame of the mini roller as my guide, And as long as you don't get any paint on it, you can just push that right up to there and let it gently run up there, and you can get a line just like that with the mini roller. As long as you don't get that edge, as long as you don't have any paint on it. Let me. Where is the frame? Let's see here. I'm just gonna briefly, quickly show you, and then I got to get back to work because I got a couple more hours to go. You see this edge here? As long as you don't get paint on this edge, you can push that right up next to there. See, and the paint roller stops right there. You see what I mean? And as long as you're careful, look at that. You can just go up and around there, and it works out really good. So, anyways, that's what I ended up doing. Now my cut in isn't as much. If you leave too wide of a cut in, and then you've got to blend that in with your paintbrush, and sometimes you put the paint on and after you cut it in, and then you find out, hey, I got to put the paint on thicker or something, and then you've got to put it on thicker a little bit, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's what I ended up having to do in certain areas around the baseboards and around the door frames and stuff. And lots of times, if you have heavy spray texture on your walls, you got the little dimples, and sometimes you run your paintbrush along there as you're cutting in, and it doesn't cover everything. So then you've got to run the paintbrush the other way, forehand this way and then backhand the other way. And sometimes I've got to cut in a little section of base. I've got to run the paintbrush on there 3 or 4 times even, sometimes, depending how heavy the bumps are on the spray texture. And sometimes you can go both directions and you still have a little gap, and you're like, what's the deal? What do I have to do to fix that gap and to get paint in there? And what you can do